everyone. Thank you for joining me today. So in today's fun video tutorial, I have a card that I'd like to show you how I made. It's got this cool little flap here. And I used the autumn leaves and autumn leaf stamp set and dies. So I also want to show you, I did something accidentally and I thought like, oh wow, that's so cool. So it's like an inlaid type leaf pattern here that I made, and I'll show you how I did that. Maybe I'm calling it wrong, I don't know. It reminds me of the you know, the Italian wood where they do the inlaid wood and stuff, and they make all those gorgeous colors and pictures and stuff. So that's what this kind of reminded me, obviously on a much lesser scale though. So let me get started here. I'll put these aside for just a minute. As I mentioned, I am using the Autumn Leaves stamp set. We'll be using Autumn Teaches Us That Change Can Be Beautiful. Really love this set. It's so pretty. My favorite season is fall, so this is just perfect for me. And the dies, well, you know me, I love dies, so definitely pick that up. The other die set that I'm using is the Meadow Dies. And I'm just using this little butterfly here. I thought that looked perfect on the card. And what else am I using? I am using the Twisted Rope 3D embossing folder. Another favorite. Love this. On the other card that I had made, I used the Courage and Faith, which has become one of my favorites as well. I know you guys are probably thinking, geez, Maria, you have a lot of favorites. Well, I do, but you know, I like my stuff, right? Okay, so I've got all my pieces mostly cut out here. Some I've already adhered. This is just your basic regular cardstock card base. 5.5 by 8.5, scored down the middle at 4 1/4. I already adhered a piece of designer series paper, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then to that we'll be adding the basic white, which is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So the first thing I want to do is I want to cut that little flap off. So we are going to actually flip this around. So I want to cut off 2 inches on the short side. So on the 5.5 inch side, I have that up against my trimmer. And then I'm going to go down to the score line. And we're just going to cut to 4 1/4 inches. And with the trimmer, there's this little guide here that shows you when to stop, or you can also feel it. And turn it over, and I want to cut this piece off. So I'm just going to put this back in the track at the 4 1/4 inch mark. There, move it over just a tad. I want to cut it right on the score line. So I'm cutting that score line off, and again, down to 2 inches. And once I hit that mark, I'm going to stop. Perfect. You can save that piece for something else. All right, so that is all the cutting I need for right now. And then if you get a little bit of this edge here, you can just trim it with your scissors, which I'm going to do. If it bothers you. It's bothering me. So we're going to cut that off. There we go. And this is copper clay that I am using. And the designer series paper is Fresh as a Daisy. Another one of my favorites. Okay, so next I'm going to adhere this piece to the front. And this is what I had already embossed with the Twisted Rope 3D embossing folder. And what I did was, after I embossed it, I used my sponge dauber and I dabbed it in a little bit of pecan pie, I think I used, and that's what this card color is here. The cardstock is pecan pie. I just kind of went around, you know, randomly, just to give it a little organic kind of look. So let's adhere this piece down. glue. So I hope you guys have been enjoying your week. Mine's been so far fairly quiet, so which I like. A little bit of glue there. Just wipe that off. I'll press that down. Okay, next I am going to stamp my sentiment onto my basic white. And before I adhere the basic white, I'm going to measure it. Just keep it in the card base. Close the flap. And stamp my image. Now, I stamped this in 3 different colors to see which one I like the most. So we've got copper clay, pecan pie, and wild wheat. The copper clay is a little darker than I'd like it to be, so I think I'm going to go with the pecan pie. And I like to do that sometimes. Gives me a better view of what I'm, trying to accomplish. All right, we're going to ink that up. And keeping this in place. I think it moved on me a little. There we go. I'm just going to stamp it right here. Looking for equal spacing. And down. Beautiful. Now this card design, you can actually do it in portrait style also. And I did do a video on this particular style. Oh, I don't know if it was last year sometime or earlier this year. The exact time. I did use the Share a Milkshake bundle, so it might have been earlier this year, but how I did it was, I had the card turned this way, so definitely a lot of options. You can always cut it by 11-inch side and then have this flap going this way. So many different options. Take your pick, do what makes you happy. And I find using the dimensional paper that doesn't have, the designer series paper that doesn't have a direction on it is probably best to use, because this way you're not deciding which way is supposed to go here and which is supposed to go there. All right, so we have that down. Okay, let's set this aside and let's do some of the fun stuff here. Okay, so I'm going to get my embossing machine. Put that in the screen. Oh. There we go. Get my mat. Excuse me. So I've already cut out two of the large leaves with this die cut here. This die cut will also cut out the stamped image. So as I said, I cut those out already. Next thing what I want to do is, one of them's going to stay solid like this. The other one, I'm using this die with the branches, and we're going to cut out the center. Line it up as best I could. Right there should be good. Okay, then we're going to put some tape down because I want to hold it there. I'm going to also put another piece of Post-it on the other side to hold it. And then I will run this through my die cutting machine. I'm actually done with the machine. That was the last piece I needed to cut out. All right, so let's move this out of the way. Gently remove the skeleton or the branches. We can use that for another card. And then you are left with this design here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this piece here to the top of the solid piece. So now it has a solid base. And then I'm not going to use the same color though. We're going to use the other color. This is pecan pie. We're going to insert that in there. So let me glue this down. So this, like I mentioned, this did happen by accident and I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh, that's so cool. I like that. So all right, let's make sure the glue comes out. It does. Perfect. I'm just going to go around the edges here, and this way we'll glue this piece down. Nice thin spider lines, because you don't want it to ooze. Try to keep to the center. And I will fast forward through the rest of this. All right, so now I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to place it onto the solid piece. Lining it up as best I can. My hands are a little bit sticky. Just going to move it around and get it on there perfectly. Sure, it looks good from the back. And that's why liquid glue is perfect for this, because then you have a little time to move it around and get it just right. All right, there you go. So now you're ready with this piece. Just give it a good press. I like to press it on the back side just to press it down and make sure all the pieces are adhered. Okay. Then what I do is I add the glue. And by the way, I'm using a fine tip glue pen here. It's just the green glue. And I just put it in this little bottle. It makes it so much easier. Stampin' Up! Does sell a bottle with a thin top. I always had problems with that, so that's why I prefer this. If you're interested in it, I can certainly leave the link. I bought them on Amazon. You can take a look at it. They, I think they come in like a pack of 5. And I use these for my card classes. I have, some of the ladies I have don't really care for the green glue because they say it gets all over the place. And this allows them to just get a little bit on their cards so they're not getting all sticky. Because the tendency is to, you want to squeeze really hard and get a lot of glue out, but you don't need to do that. Just a little bit goes a long way. All right, I'm going to fast forward through this also. All right, so now I've got the glue there. Then I'm going to take the skeleton and I'm just going to place it in the openings, pressing it in there as I go along. And then when I've gotten it in there, I'm just going to flip it over and press it down just to make sure that it's adhered completely. And there you have it. Isn't that awesome? I thought that was so cool when I did that. I was like, oh wow, I love it. All right, let's get this put down. I'm gonna close up my little glue. I don't think I need it. All right, so we've got some other parts and pieces here. I have some pieces already cut out. So this will be the center point, and I'm going to use dimensionals on it. So I'm just gonna put them on right now. I'm thinking about it. And the dimensionals will actually act as, you know, glue for some of the other pieces. All right, let's see, we're gonna add one of these leaves to the bottom. And I guess I'll add this. So I want this going down this way, this way, and then we need this piece here, right? Or should I use this one? Let's see, what do we like better? That, or should we bring some Moody Mauve in here? Let's try the Moody Mauve. Might be a little bit softer. Yeah, I think you know what? Let's go with Wild Wheat. I used the Moody Mauve on the other card. So we'll do Wild Wheat on this one. Then I have my butterfly cut out also. And this I cut out from the dry brushed metallic designer series paper. It comes with this, it's gold with Calypso coral, and then the other color is, I believe, Pretty Peacock. It's really beautiful paper. I love this paper. I've been hoarding it. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Cajun Craze, Petal Pink, and Soft Succulent. What do I know? All right, so first I'm going to put my butterfly down with some dimensionals also. I'm just going to cut a couple of little pieces. And we'll add this to the corner here, like so. I really like that. And then I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the back of this. And we'll adhere this piece also. Try to go a little bit faster. Right. And we'll adhere this to here. And then we'll put this leaf down. Since I have this out, I'll just use this glue. I'll add that here, kind of like a falling leaf. And we'll add this one. Let's see, right about here, I think would be good. Right there. Take off the backings on the dimensionals. Let me close this glue up. All right, so we are done with those. Let's put this on. Put that here on an angle. So, there we go. So far, so good. It's beautiful. And then lastly, we are going to add some sparkle gems. Aren't these beautiful? Oh, they're gorgeous. All right, let's use a large one up on the top here. And then we'll put another big one about down here. And then maybe I'll go with the small one up in this corner here. So, and there you have it. Isn't it gorgeous? I just love the way this turned out. When I made this card yesterday, I was like, oh my goodness. I just couldn't stop looking at it. So, gang, let me know what you think about it. Will you give this a try if you have the autumn leaves dies? I hope you do it. It looks really great. I'm sure you could do the same with the with these dies also here, because I bet you if you cut this piece to solid, this you can cut out the inside. You can make like a whole bunch of them, right? Pretty cool. So I hope you guys give it a try. If you enjoyed this video, I would certainly enjoy a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. I'd love to read your comments, and it also helps to build my channel. Until next time, guys, have a stamp happy day. Bye-bye.